When I was young, I married who I thought was my soulmate, and we had 2 kids together, a daughter and a son. Unfortunately, I didn't know my wife had issues when we married. She hid it exceptionally well until a few years in. I began noticing patterns and eventually confronted her. We split when the oldest was a toddler. She signed over custody. I know she was homeless a while after our split because her parents didn't want anything to do with her. Did not know anything besides that. She contacted me about a year back and told me she was 3 years sober and had a stable job and a home. I checked with her family and everything, and she was telling the truth. She really wanted to meet her kids, and while I was a little upset at the her kids line, I eventually decided it wasn't my decision to make and left it up to the kids, now teens. They decided they wanted to meet her, and that was that. They've been hanging out with her about twice a week, and I let her come over for dinner almost every night. No sleepovers at her place as of now. So far, they've kind of had an auntish relationship with her, but they do seem to be enjoying it. Which brings me to our conflict. I'm far from a great dad, but I honestly believe I'm a good one. I've built trust with my kids through therapy and heart-to-heart conversations over the years. They're fairly popular at their school, and they recently got invited to a party that I gave them the go-ahead to go. I've spoken to them about dangers of alcohol, etc., and they know that I'm always available to pick them up in a situation they don't want to be in. They also understand why their mother and I split up. My kids came home around 11 p.m. and just gave me the teen-type rundown, like who was there, they couldn't believe who did what, blah blah. They also were honest with me and told me they tried Jell-O shots, which they thought were gross. That was the end of that. They weren't intoxicated, they weren't buzzed. They tried a drink and that was that. They were there for 2 hours and came home. Well, I guess they brought up the party in front of their mother that following breakfast meetup. She was livid. She tried to ground them from electronics and socializing for 2 weeks. They said it was really awkward and asked me to pick them up without much of the details. While they were waiting in the car, I spoke to her, and when she told me, I honestly laughed. I asked her what gave her the right. She responded that she really wanted to be a mother to her kids, that I should give her a chance to parent, and that she's giving 100% to this to make it work. I told her it was way too late for that. The kids are basically adults, have part-time jobs, pay for their phone bills, clothes by choice, and are deep into their plans for adulthood. She then told me I was robbing her of a chance to make things right, and asked what was the point of letting her into their lives if I wasn't letting her be a mom. We needed to be a team because she needed my support. And here's where I might be the idiot. I told her the kids are well past the age of asking me why mommy doesn't love them when crawling into my bed at night, and that she was welcome to leave again. And as far as being a team, the only team is me and my kids. I am their parent. They listen to me and respect me because I've listened to and respected them their whole lives. We haven't spoken since then, going on a week and a half. She has still texted the kids good morning and good night messages, but has skipped 2 meetups they usually have. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, and even if you weren't the perfect parent, you were there. She missed their childhood. Sadly, they no longer need a mother. There's nothing you can do to change that part. Think of it this way. This was the equivalent of your neighbor trying to ground them for something. Kids grow out of needing parenting. Just the reality of the situation. It's unfortunate, but time and kids do not wait. The ship has sailed. She may have had some affectionate relationship with them, but she will never be able to discipline them according to her values. She's expecting credit for running a marathon, having turned up at the 22nd mile. She'd built this up. She had a fantasy in her head, and you shone a spotlight on the cracks. You're the victim of misplaced feelings. Agreed, she needs to know her place. It's great that she got clean, but she missed out on their entire childhood. She now needs to accept she won't have that mother-kid relationship with them like she wants. She needs to understand that, to become their mother in more than biology and name, she needs to build and maintain a relationship with them from scratch. That means things like discipline are not her purview. Their relationship is still in the infant stage. My wife, Danielle, 33, has a job that requires her to go into the office every day. I, 42, work from my home office. We have 2 little children. We had a nanny, Esme, whom we hired after we moved to this city for my wife's job. We do not have family in this city. Esme has been with us since we got here 6 months ago. She was excellent at her job and a pleasant person in general. Danielle got it into her head that Esme would try and get me away from her. She fired her. It was a ridiculous assertion. I love my wife, but she insisted. She then proceeded to kibosh any nanny that the agency sent. Even the male one because she thought it was weird to have a male nanny. I said that no way was happening. I bring home 65% of our income. I cannot watch the kids and work. I've dealt with this temporarily by inviting my parents to stay with us so they can watch the kids. Danielle hates this. She likes my folks but doesn't like having them here 100% of the time. However, neither her mom nor dad are able to help. I told her that if she wanted my parents to go home, she either had to replace our nanny or stay home to watch the kids. She says I'm an idiot for devaluing her work and expecting her to watch the kids because she's the woman. I'm not. She created this situation and it's her responsibility to deal with it. Edit, we're on a waiting list for daycare. It can be a year or more. Not the idiot. She's absurd. Her jealousy and insecurities created this problem. It's fine if she doesn't want to stay at home, but she can't expect you to somehow both work and parent 2 children simultaneously because she doesn't like either your parents or any nanny. OP, you know that the nanny isn't the issue. There isn't productive communication before large decisions, and you solved it, but she doesn't like this either. Therapy? A vacation? I don't know, but if you don't start making decisions as a team and she doesn't figure out what's making her so insecure that she can't have a nanny, male or female, then this will only get worse. Did she cheat? Did you? Is there a reason for this? If not, this is probably a pattern of behavior and you need to get to the root of it together. People can be that insecure. The fact that she's rejecting every potential avenue and wants him to watch the kids, thus having to cut back on his work, suggests that she wants him to be more independent on her to make her feel important and irreplaceable to him. It's more of the makings of financial abuse than cheating to me. To preface this, I don't believe I've done anything wrong to warrant the roommate's tears, but a part of me wants validation that I was just and not overbearing. I'm a strong woman who stands up for herself, but sometimes afterward I feel guilty for simply putting my foot down. It's also worth noting that my boyfriend and I had this apartment alone originally and invited the roommates in when they needed a place to stay for money reasons. Our boyfriends are brothers. My roommate got a blue-collar job 2 months ago, and she now wakes up early and does chores for an hour until she leaves most days of the week. I'm the only one still home and sleeping at this time. I've already had 1 or 2 discussions with her about this. She says she'll try to be quiet. If I say something, it gets better for maybe a day, if that, and she goes back to closing cabinets and laundry machines unnecessarily loud and walking heavily, almost stomping. I said something to her this morning and was much more firm. I said this can't happen. I'm unwilling to lose the last hour of my sleep so you can do your chores at a ridiculous time. I told her she could do it quietly, at night, or not in the morning. I added it was very disrespectful of her to act like that because I know the cabinets and doors can be shut quietly, as well as not clanging dishes together. She said she would try, but don't be an idiot to her. I've been disrespectful with how I talk to her, but she's referring to past convos similar to this when she or her boyfriend were acting inconsiderately. I feel like I've been nothing but an adult. And when I have to repeat myself over crap like this, of course I will be less nice each time I have to repeat myself. She said I come at her all the time like this, but she's referring to the times I've pointed out things like them leaving water around the tub, leading to damage. I said if she thought I was being disrespectful about it, I'm not sure how she thinks her boyfriend's parents would react if she did that when she lived with them. She didn't like that very much because she knows I'm right. She wouldn't imagine doing that to them, and she told me not to speak to her at all from now on. A few more texts were exchanged. I asked what exactly I did or said to be disrespectful, and then she blocked me. She proceeded to call her boyfriend and cry about it, and then he texted my boyfriend and said we should leave her alone and that they'd be looking for a new place. We literally share a wall in our apartment. I get people have disagreements, but getting mad at your roommate for something like this, saying they're disrespectful for them voicing their concerns, and then blocking them is just childish. And then playing the victim? This is what a kid does when they hit another kid, then cry and tattle when they get hit back. Am I the idiot? Is there any way to show them how ridiculous and inconsiderate they're being? Not the idiot. You've asked her before not to slam cabinets at 4 a.m. That isn't an outrageous ask to me. It was also your place first and you allowed them to move in. If they can't be considerate, they can leave instead. I hope she never gets fired or has a bad day or gets broken up with, because if someone telling you to keep quiet in the mornings is enough to make you cry, then you've got bigger problems. Sounds like the trash has decided to take itself out. You cannot use reason with unreasonable people. Therefore, you cannot make an unreasonable person understand anything. Take people for who they are and govern yourself accordingly. Agreed, it sounds like the problem is resolving itself. They're moving the heck out. She seems to be making noise purposely to wake you up. Is she resentful that you get to sleep in and she doesn't? There's no reason why doors and dishes need to be slammed and banged, especially when she's been asked on multiple occasions to be more mindful. Crying about it is ridiculous. I'd also arrange in writing a date for them to leave. They're presumably not on the lease anyway, and things will only continue to deteriorate, and you will want them gone ASAP, I imagine. I bought myself a nice blender. I work part-time at home and watch the young kids too young for preschool. Due to my staying home, I cook a lot, which I enjoy, so it's not a big deal. Now the issue is that he was angry about how much the blender was, $125. This annoyed me since I use my fun money to pay for it, and it is a household tool that even if he won't use it. I thought we were over it, but I pulled it out again to make a smoothie, and he made more comments about a waste of money and stupid buy. I had a conversation with him about the whole situation again, and he made more comments the next time I took it out, and I had enough. Now every time I make something using a blender, I don't give him any. It came to a head today. I made a soup and I used the blender. I told him I used the stupid blender to make it so he couldn't have any and make his own food. This caused a huge argument, and he thinks I'm a petty jerk. But I've told him so many times not to call my purchases a waste. Am I the idiot for taking it so far? Edit, he makes comments about the blender every single time he sees it. It could be chilling in the cabinets and he opens that one and then the comments start. Every single damn time. Not the idiot, you're using it, so what's the problem? If you'd bought it and it was just sitting gathering dust, then he could moan. Sounds like you don't have a husband but a child. What is this dude's problem? I'd serve his soup in a sippy cup until he got over himself. You are the idiot. In my life, I have owned 2 blenders. I think the most expensive one was $15. If money is tight enough that $100 is causing tension, then yes, it was a stupid purchase. But to be petty enough to deny your partner some soup because you blended it, that's just out and out crappy of you. God, I'm glad I'm not married to you. You sound challenging to live with, and you should probably thank your lucky stars that you found a man to stick it out with you. Good luck. Disagree. $125 is not a lot for a blender, especially if you're using it and bought it with your fun money. I'm not well off and I bought my blender on sale for $300. I think it's a shame that you have to budget for a household tool like it's a personal toy, but since you did, your husband has no leg to stand on, and he shouldn't get to eat the goodies you make with your toy. I think he's jealous you can save your fun money and he cannot. OP, he gets annoyed with things he thinks are useless to him. I find it hard to believe that he's that selfish in this specific area and not selfish about his being the only relevant opinion in other areas. Are there things in your life together where you just let him have his way because it's not worth disagreeing with him? What's that going to look like when your children are old enough to hold different opinions from him? For example, if they don't enjoy eating a particular food item that he thinks they should eat, or they're more hungry than he thinks they should be, or they aren't tidying up their toys to exactly the level of tidying that he thinks is important. Oh, this is not just about the blender. Are you happy in this relationship? Mini update. It comes down to the money. I save my fun money and buy nice things. He likes to spend it right away. I don't remember the last time he bought something that was $100 or more, which is stupid since we get around $200 fun money a week. So me buying a $125 blender he thinks is useless makes him angry. It took him 3 months to save $70 for a game. He just spends all the fun money the moment he sees it. This post made me start thinking about my marriage. I'm asking for couples counselling, and if things don't change, I will be done. I, 25 female, am pregnant with me and my husband's 25 first baby. We're very excited as I'm only a few weeks from giving birth. My baby is the first grandchild on both sides, so naturally everyone is anxious to meet them. We live multi-generationally with my husband's family. We all live on a large property together. My husband's grandparents, parents and siblings also live here. His grandparents live in their detached apartment, while my husband and I live in a large apartment in their finished basement. We have our own entrance, kitchen, laundry, 3 bedrooms, etc. His siblings and parents live upstairs from us. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to raise my baby in such a large village and so close to family. Now, onto the issue at hand. In a group chat, I informed my family of the boundaries we would be implementing after the birth, one of which is that we will not be having any visitors in the hospital and won't be having visitors in our home until the baby is at least 2 weeks old. This includes even my husband's family who live with us, as I may not feel up to seeing them either while freshly postpartum. The exception to this rule is that I know if I need any support or help, I will ask my mother-in-law who can quickly come downstairs. I trust my mother-in-law not to intrude on this special time, but I know that she will be a great resource and support person. I've become very close with my mother-in-law over the years, and I'm not at all close with my mom. We're extremely low contact for reasons I won't go into, and I only see her a couple of times a year. I was hesitant to allow her to visit at all, but my husband convinced me otherwise, even though she's always been very mean and unwelcoming to my husband. But the man is a saint and doesn't want me to lose my relationship with her completely. Anyway, my mom was extremely upset at this message. She told me that it was unfair that my mother-in-law would be able to bond with my baby while she wouldn't get the same privilege. She said that I was being hypocritical for saying I won't allow visitors except for my mother-in-law. I told her I was sorry she felt that way, but that my mother-in-law isn't technically a visitor. We literally live in the same house as her. On the other hand, my mom lives 45 minutes away, and I'm not willing to entertain her when I need to focus on my baby. Also, personally, I'd like to have some mother figure during this process, and I would rather it be my mother-in-law than my mom. But I'm starting to feel like I may be acting unfairly. I could use some advice. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. There are clear reasons why you've been low contact with your mother, and she's not doing a damn thing to give you cause to reverse that. Stand your ground and let her know that if she's that unhappy with you, then no contact it will be, and that will settle the matter. You have a great situation with your husband's family and excellent support. Embrace that and give your baby and yourself a low-stress, loving, meaningful time. Your baby will have one wonderful grandmother, which is certainly better than two when the second is this problematic. Oh boy, it took my mother-in-law 4 years to understand when my wife and I said no. It means no. OP, you don't have to do a goddamn thing about visitors beyond saying yes or no. You don't have to offer excuses, reasons, or lollipops. Nothing. You are the boss. Just a reminder, tell the nursing staff at the hospital if you give birth in a hospital who is and who isn't allowed to visit you. They will protect you if your mother decides to impose herself on you.